Welcome. It is a Saturday. It is 4 o'clock here on the East Coast of North America. And it's time for some live streaming fun. It's time to gather together in the workshop and talk all things making and building and, it's this channel. We're going to talk about Ghostbusters props, obviously. But yeah, we're going to open it up a little bit today. We're going to maybe talk about some other franchises, some other props. We can really kind of take this discussion wherever we want today, which is going to be super fun. So yeah, we're ready to do whatever you guys would like to do, wherever you guys would like to go on this journey today. I've got some things ready to show. I've got some stuff that we can perhaps build when we're live. So yeah, any of those things really that we're up for today. Ectotrip, hi! How are you? I was editing the Ghostbusters Day video, which all being well will actually be out on Sunday. I really hope. And there's that little piece of you meeting AC Martin in my live stream. I was literally just editing that a few hours ago. So yeah, it's just a little snippet of you passing, but it's going to be in the video edit. But hello, it's good to see you. No problem. It's really brief. It's just like, oh, this is my friend Ectotrip, and then and then AC chatted with you. But yeah, it's cool to see you. Cool to see you. Welcome, folks. Welcome to the live stream. I've got water with me today. I'm feeling a bit thirsty, and it's not as warm as it has been here in New Jersey, but it's still warm in my workshop. And I thought I'll cool the workshop down. I've got an AC unit here now. And then I turned it off for the live stream because it's very noisy. And now it's starting to feel hot again in here. Nothing goes wrong with the shop and the shop water. So yeah, so cool. Well, a few things. This is always an interesting thing when you start these live streams because it takes a while for people to gather. But weirdly, I often find that holding something like this while I'm talking just helps to capture people's attention. I did wonder if what would be interesting today is to talk a little bit more about weathering. Some people have talked about that on the channel. We've talked about it on the channel, and I've kind of got a little bit of a set of tools that we can have a chat about using for weathering. Also, I did think we could have a go at maybe weathering this, having a look at how you take one of these toys and make it look a little bit more in universe. So that's something I was thinking of doing. As I stand here looking at this, I'm already thinking, what do we do with that kind of non-universe looking clip? Yes, it's a PKE meter. This is the Spirit Halloween PKE meter. It's actually quite a good little toy prop. It's obviously not going to be as epic as the one coming out from HasLab, but yeah, this is an interesting thing to mod. Yes, this is a ghost trap. So this originally started its life as a Spirit Halloween ghost trap, and then I did some modding to it, which is often what we talk about on this channel. Colusi S, I hope that's I'm getting your name right. I'm apologizing right now if I haven't got it right. Sometimes I struggle to get people's names correct. Snedler, hi. Hey, how are you? Glad that you were able to join the stream. I did it a little earlier today because I know that you're all the way over in Europe, and so that can be, it can be a late one for you. It can be like, Eddie, how are you? Eddie's saying, nothing like forgetting you have this queued up when you're doing the dishes and hearing your voice in the other room. That's hilarious. Eddie and I actually hung out this week just gone. It was pretty cool. I was working in Chicago, and I had a little bit of time in the evening, and we met together and we went to a British pub. He had fish and chips, I had pie and chips. It was a good evening. We talked all things Ghostbusters, and he also showed me his very cool Ecto that he has that I greatly enjoyed. He's done a mod on his car to bring it in universe, so super cool. Chiquili, hopefully that's how you say your name. This is a ghost trap from Ghostbusters. It's a modded toy that I changed to look more like a prop from the movie. So yeah, That's what this is. And Snedler, yes, thanks for doing it early. I'm trying. I've also got stuff I have to get on with later today. I've got so much to do. As I was saying earlier, I was in Chicago all week. Only got back, I got back super late yesterday. Well, actually today in the AM. And so I'm tired, and I've actually still got to unpack. Ectotrip saying the ghost trap is not a toy. It's not a toy. Don't look directly into it, guys. It can be dangerous. It can be dangerous. And those of you who've been on the live stream before know that what this trap is. This is the one I modded. There's a whole video on my channel of me modding this. But this is the one, as you would well know, that Adam Savage signed for me when I went to the Philadelphia Fan Expo, which was super fun. It was fun to get him to have a look at this. And yeah, I mean, while this is up, I mean, a few things about this you'll notice that were done to mod this. So you see all of these screws here. These are all added. So what I actually had to do, where's the original trap? Let's get the other one up here. So you can see the modding process. So this is the one as it comes out of the box. And you see all of these, they have these kind of fake screws here. That are obviously meant to look like the screws from the movie. And I would say that these are actually more accurate to the movie. Hey, the Soul of Mind, how you doing? So they are Phillips head screws in the film. But in order to make them look more realistic, what I had to do was I had to use a knife to kind of shave them off. And then what I did was I screwed new holes to add them in, to kind of add that. I've got so much video content now that I've recorded of me doing these kind of mods. I'm gonna try and put a whole weathering video together, because I know that there's always interest from people in how do you take a toy and weather it to make it look much more like the real thing. And again, this doesn't look exactly like the movie prop, but it looks it's a much closer experience to the movie prop, especially with, you know, when you can feel that these are real screws. And yeah, I find it a more satisfying experience. Let's see, what are people saying? Snadler, that's awesome. Adam is a cool guy. He is a cool guy. You two would have a great time together, I'm sure. Yeah, I think we would. We did have a good chat. Funnily enough, we talked about our mutual friendship with Ben Eady, which was fun. And what else did we talk about? He was excited about the HasLab trap and PKE meter, which I hadn't seen in the flesh until later. And again, if you follow my channel, you'll know that there's a video up on my channel of me talking, oh gosh, what's his name now? It's gone out of my head. Zach, talking with Zach from HasLab about the trap. Zach was at Ghostbusters Day in New York a couple of weeks back, and Zach and the Hasbro team had bought their trap with them, the trap that they're releasing very soon, hopefully. They've said in the fall, so we will see if it is in the autumn that it comes out. Late fall, I think they said. So there's questions in the community about whether that means before Halloween or after Halloween. I think it might be after Halloween. Ghostbusters Collector, hi, how are you? Good to see you. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying, Adam, when we chatted, was very, very excited about the HasLab trap. And when I got to see it in person, it's very cool. I mean, one of the coolest things, which obviously you don't get when you buy a toy like this, is that the piece here, obviously, the button here on this trap opens the trap up, right? That's the switch for it. But on the HasLab trap and the movie prop, when you pull that clip, what happens is that this piece, the piece with the wheels and the surround, pulls away, and then you end up with the piece of the trap in here that you see in the movie that they dock in the containment unit. And so the HasLab trap does all of that stuff, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in the video that's on my channel that you can see. And the easiest way to see that video is just hit the subscribe button. And you can go find the HasLab video. The Soul of Mine, can we see the pack? Of course you can. You know it's just out of camera. It always is. And Cameron's Ectoverse, hey Cameron. He's watching Ghostbusters right now while in North Carolina. Thanks for joining the live stream, Cameron. It's good to have you. Cameron and I got to chat on Ghostbusters Day, which was super fun. And Cameron, the video of Ghostbusters Day, I'm really hoping will be edited tonight and posted live, won't be live, posted on my channel tomorrow morning, at least American time. So I'm hoping, look out about 10:30 tomorrow, 9:30, 10:30 tomorrow, you should see my whole Ghostbusters Day video. It's a reasonably long video. It's almost 30 minutes long, but it features the very cool experience I got to have of driving in a convoy of 3 59mm Ecto-1s into the city for Ghostbusters Day, plus snippets of all the conversations I had with so many fantastic fans like Cameron and Ecto Trip, who's on here, and Eddie, who's on here, and other folks. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting you that are on the live stream, or if you haven't said hi in chat. But yeah, I got to speak to so many cool people. And you know me, I was interested in their packs and their costumes and figuring out what they were wearing and what mods they'd done. So yeah. Yeah, 3 out of 100 ever made. I know, that was honestly crazy. And one of the cool things I got to do when we were in the car was I got to put a GoPro on the light bar of the Ecto-1NJ, which was the lead car. And so I have these really cool shots of us coming out of the tunnel into Tribeca, and you can see the other 2 cars following. And very kindly, a couple of other social media users sent me video that I was able to cut together. So it's pretty cool. You get to see us leaving the workshop, gathering before the Hunnell Tunnel, and coming on in. It was super, super cool. So yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy Ecto Trip, totally was. Owned not by companies, but by fans, yes. And actually I spoke to, which his name's escaping me now, but he's the guy that played the truck driver in the closing post-credit sequence of Afterlife. And we chatted with him about it, and he and I were discussing Jason Reitman's love of Ectos, and yeah, just chatting with him about that very thing, which is pretty cool. Cameron's Ectoverse. I did get your sketch, Cameron, but I haven't had a chance to look at it properly yet because I was working long hours last week. But I promise I will have a look at it. But I did get it. Thank you. Eddie, Adam Murray was the truck driver. Adam, thank you. Adam Murray. That's right. I knew it was an Adam now. Now you reminded me of that. Adam was a really nice guy. He came to Ghostbusters Day as well. So they're saying the Ghostbusters community is a great community. I agree, and it's grown a lot. It's a bad time to be a ghost in 2024. It is. And on that topic of ghost busting, let's bring the pack up, because somebody asked me. I forgot who it was that asked me now, but somebody asked me. So let's get the pack up here, because I know that's what you want to see. And I was thinking if we want to talk about this, I mean, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about today, by the way. I was saying that when we started, when there were a few less of us here. But I'm happy to chat really about whatever you want today. I know that some people have shown an interest in understanding more about the electronics and how we do the electronics bits. And also some people have asked questions about, we talked about weathering. So I've kind of got some stuff here if we want to talk a little bit about weathering. I know last week I discussed a little bit about the weathering that I did on this and how I did it. But yeah, so if you've got questions about this, then let's have them, and we can talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, here's the pack. Here's the 3D printed pack, and a lot of you guys have seen this before. And I have to admit to being very happy with this. It was, as you know, it took me a long time to get there with this. Ecto Trip saying, whoa, a nuclear accelerator. It is. Let me turn the nuclear accelerator on. I've got the sound off right now. It's not on at the moment. But you know, the flashing lights are fun to have. I always love this glow that I get. There's something about the way that cameras deal with blue reflected light. You're seeing a really interesting artifact of how the camera can't quite figure out the light balance here, which is why I have this really weird glow going on behind me. Or maybe I'm becoming a ghost. I'm looking kind of ghostly on this side of my face. Snedder saying, it's an amazing job you did with that pack. Thank you very, very much. I am very proud of it. I'm very happy with it. And again, if you're new here, this is a pack that I 3D printed and built from scratch. This is the wand here that you see. This is a HasLab wand. This is the 84 wand. But as you can see, I've done quite a lot of modifications, or at least weathering, to bring it into universe. And actually, I was showing you earlier on the trap here, you'll notice these little screws that I added to make it look more realistic. This is exactly the kind of thing I did on here. So you see here, this little piece here, that screw is a real screw that I added. And the same on the side here, these are real too. Because what I often find, and it's tough with things like this, but with toys, you're always going to see these mold lines, or these lines that show the join between the different pieces that are screwed together. And so there's a few things that you can do to kind of help with that. So you may not be able to tell, but this piece here, this little panel, when you hang the wand up, right, so the piece that's facing you, let me just put the camera here, the piece that's facing you here, when you mount this, is this panel. So when you're walking around with a pack on your back, this is the bit you're going to see. And this has one of the most severe seams of any part, which is one of my, I'm going to just say this, and I love Hasbro, what you're doing, but to put the seam here, I'll show you what it looks like when it hasn't been. So this is the same molding. So this is the Spengler wand. So you'll see what I mean here. See, this is a seam, a join seam for the plastic parts that have been pushed together to make this one. So, but what happens is you hang this wand on your pack, and the first thing that everyone sees is this seam. They don't see all this beautiful stuff, which is the top when you're holding it. But I think that's, in my mind, it's a bit of a design flaw, because that's what people are going to see mostly, this piece here, when they look at your pack straight on. So the simple fix for me was, and again, let me see if I can get the camera closer here so you can see that. Whoops. All right. I'll just bend this down a little bit. Is that I actually put a piece of tape on this, and hopefully you can't tell it's a piece of tape, but to try and really get away from you seeing that seam. And so it was just a piece of proper gaffer's tape, which is this stuff here, which, as you can see, when you turn it in the light doesn't reflect off it. It's not like the plastic gaffer tape, it's a material tape. And so the light kind of disappears into this, and it helps to get rid of that crack. And then, of course, added some Fuller's Earth afterwards, which is always helpful, to kind of hide any blemishes or problems that there are. Oops. Okay, cool. Let's see, who else is here? Sorry that I'm not responding to your comments. Let me look at them on here, because it's going to be a lot easier for me. I've got my iPad. Let's see what people are saying. So, Custody, amazing prop, great job. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ectotrip saying, forgot you're using that camera or phone to live stream. Yeah. Brandon says, love this. Welcome, Brandon. Snedler, can't you mount it with a strong magnet? Ooh, it's an interesting point. The wand, you mean? I've never even thought of doing that, if that's what you mean. What I did was I actually built the Vhook. So this hook here on the side, you see that? I actually made that hook out. Oh my gosh, my trap almost hit the floor. That would have been bad. I built this out of a piece of aluminum that you can get, or aluminium if you're from the UK, that I got from Home Depot. And I had to cut it to size. It actually started life, oh my gosh, come on Vhook, do your business. It started life as a building tie. So here in the US, where we build stuff, we stick build stuff, or build a lot of houses more out of wood. Certainly in England, they're much more brick built. But this is a tie, so it's an aluminum tie that you would use on pieces of wood. And I just hacksawed it into the shape that I needed to make this piece here. So then it makes a pretty good Vhook. And I made one that would work with the HasLab wand. So that's what I did there. But anyway, getting distracted by my own excitement about these things. Gavin, hey Gavin, how you doing? Brandon is asking, Oh, and TG Playtime. Hello, TG Playtime. The Solar Mind. Hello, or the Solar Mind. Sorry, folks. I'm not keeping up with all your comments. Let's see. Gavin said hi. Sorry, Gavin. I'm I'm confused. You can tell I need more sleep. I always say this on the live stream. Maybe it's just that my brain is like this. Brandon, how expensive is an Alice frame? It's a great question. So, for any of you on the stream that are wondering what Brandon's talking about, it's going to move the camera back a little bit for the purposes of this. So this is an Alice frame, which is the piece that sits on the back of your pack. I have this second one because at some point in the future I'm going to mod my Spirit pack to go with this Alice frame. The Alice frame on its own is probably between 40 and 50 bucks on Amazon. The Alice frame with the straps, I've got the straps in the other room, is somewhere around 70 to 80 bucks to buy the Alice frame. What ends up happening that you find very quickly when you're building your pack is that these costs start building up, which makes, when you think about it, the original cost of the HasLab pack was a very reasonable cost. Because when you build your own pack, those costs start to mount very, very quickly, and you don't realize how fast that's going. Let's see. Snedler, Gavin is saying, welcome to Gavin, good to see you again. Yes, talking about mounting one of strong magnet would be easier for you. It could be. My concern would be that the wand might move. And also just, I want it to be like the movie version. But it's interesting. Magnets are such a great tool in any kind of making. I've got a whole drawer of magnets. You know me, when I get on these live streams, I start pulling stuff out of these little drawers behind here and showing you all sorts of things. But I've got a magnets drawer right here, and I love using magnets for mounting and connecting things. When I did my animatronic dinosaur, the access area to the eye animatronic, I used tiny magnets around the eye area to be able to stick the skin over the eye and then take the skin off. That was part of what I did, and they were fantastic. Let's see, Cameron, what do you think of the title for the movie Ectoforce? Oh, yeah, that's cool. I like it. I like it, Cameron. For anyone that doesn't know Cameron, Cameron comes up with some super awesome Ghostbusters stories. Gavin saying, I was thinking of building a display of the back of Ecto 1 and it would be made out of cardboard. That's a cool idea. So you mean like the back door? Would you be able to open it, or are you just going to create the outside of it? But either way, that sounds a great idea. My buddy Nick is very much thinking of building a containment unit in his shop right now, which would be super fun to see. I'm just going to make sure these comments are coming up live because I'm not seeing them on my phone. What's Cameron saying? If you build something out of Legos and I give it to you, would you keep it? Of course I would. That's very kind of you, Cameron. I would love to. I would love that. But you don't have to. But if you want to, you're very welcome to. RDX, are these movie props? They are movie prop replicas that I built here in this very workshop. And we're chatting about them today. So if you've got any questions about them, ask away. I'm very happy to answer any of the questions. One thing I showed folks last week about this pack, so because we were talking about the Alice frame, but let's just spin this around so you can see the Alice frame on the back of this pack. So this is the Alice frame and straps. And actually, I've got more work to do with weathering these and making these a little bit more in universe. I did weather them a little bit, so they didn't look brand new, but they need a little bit more weathering. But you'll see on the back here of my pack, there are a couple of speakers, small ones. I've seen people with huge speakers at Ghostbusters Day. There were some amazing sound systems. But I put these two small speakers in here because I didn't want them to be too obvious. And then there is down here a little switch that enables me to turn on or off the sound, because sometimes when you're wandering around, and particularly in a setting like this where I'm talking about the pack, you don't always want the sound on all the time. So I decided it would be super useful to have a little switch that I could turn the sound on and off with. But what does make this very fun now is, I turn this back here, when you turn the switch on, that is a super satisfying sound. It makes me very happy every time. And I will fully admit to every time I walk through my workshop to head out to the car, pretty much every day I'll just switch this on and listen to it because there's something about that sound that makes me so happy. I mean, how can that sound not make you happy? Ah. And the great thing is that because of the shape, I mean, you look at the shape of the pack, it is a sound amplifier because you've got this huge space and then the speakers behind it, so it really amplifies the sound, which is wonderful. It's super, super cool. Right, what are folks saying in the chat? Let's see. Gavin was saying my uncle is why I don't... Wait. Then my uncle was like, why don't you make your car into an Ecto 1? Oh, that's cool, Gavin. Yep. Cameron's saying that they made a Batmobile and Ecto 1 out of cardboard in elementary school. That's cool. I've said it before on this channel, building stuff out of cardboard is a super, super cool material, especially if you don't necessarily have access to all the kinds of things that I have in my shop. And Adam Savage's book, Every Tool's a Hammer, if you're a fan of Adam Savage, I'm a super fan of Adam Savage. He has a whole section in his book on cardboard and tells the story of finding this huge fridge box when he was a kid and hauling the box back to his house and building it into a spaceship. And so, you know, yeah, you gotta love cardboard as a great building material. I got started in my creative pursuits building everything from cardboard, and it's not only a good starter material, it's a great material to continue with because you've got to make something big, you've got to mock something up fast. The pack's gonna shut down. I'm just gonna turn off the sound. Oh, there it goes again. But yeah, cardboard's a great material. The amazing classic movie now, Aliens, when they first mocked up and tried to decide how the alien, the mother alien, the queen, was gonna be, they used cardboard and black trash bags to build this prototype, and it was an amazing tool to use cardboard and bin liners basically to make that. And I mean, so yeah, like I think it's a great thing. So I'm excited for you to do that. That's awesome. Cosmic Vision is asking if I'm selling this. I'm not, but the fact that you even asked the question makes me is very, yes, thank you for even asking. I'm not. I put so much heart and soul into this. I couldn't bear to part with it, I'm afraid. Clay, but welcome Cosmic Vision. Good to have you here on the channel. Clay is saying, YouTube didn't tell me you were live again. I'm sorry, Clay. We all complain to YouTube about this. You're not very late, Clay. We've been going 28 minutes. You're good. You're good. You've not missed much at all. Snedler's saying, Matt, were you going to make a membership for exclusive videos and builds? Could be great. Yes, I am. So I've been talking about it 4 weeks. And why have I been talking about it? Because I want to make sure when I launch the membership that it's worth it for you. So I kind of almost want a bit of a library of content that's already available for members so that when you join, it feels like it was worth it. And I think right now I'm working on 3 levels, 2 or 3 levels. So one would be like a supporter level, which would be kind of, you know, you join and you get some, you know, privileges, but it's kind of like you're saying thanks, Matt, for the content. And then the second level up would then be access to a whole bunch of stuff, including we're probably going to do some exclusive live streams for members. I've been thinking about that format. I've been thinking about how I'd have some content and we could talk about stuff together. We could go online and look at stuff. Anyway, I'm working through it all, but so to answer your question very briefly, I just want to make sure that when I launch it, it's worth it and it's good, if that makes any sense. But I'm working on it. Cosmic saying it's wonderful. Thank you. That's so kind of you to say. Thank you very much. If you like it, hit that like button and even hit the subscribe button if you feel like it. In fact, don't worry about like, just hit subscribe. No, you can do whatever you want. TG Playtime saying same. Thank you. Ahmed. Hi, Ahmed. Can you please say my name and I will subscribe? Ahmed, I'm saying your name. Welcome to the live feed. It's good to have you here. Gavin is saying, and if I did build the pack, I was going to buy on Amazon 4 built tail lights and 4 blue spinning lights. Nice, yeah. So, and Gavin, remind me, were you going to build a pack out of cardboard? I can't remember. Sorry, I'm sure I remember us having. I know we just talked about cardboard, but oh no, you're talking about the back of the Ecto. I'm sorry, I get it. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be really good. Cameron's talking more about his amazing idea for his story. Let's see, talking about a world in Antarctica called Nakradar. Is that right? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And Shaman's older brother rules and is father of the war. Okay. And he's defeated him and imprisoned him there. That sounds really cool. Sounds really cool. Bullet fin lights. Okay, yeah, like the bullet fin lights on the Ecto. Yes, I'm with you. Tony, hello. You're not too late, Tony. Don't worry. Don't worry. Welcome, everybody. So, question for you. If you've got questions about this or specific things you want to ask me, throw them in chat. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking. You know what I'm like. I'll just keep going. And if you're new here and you haven't said anything in chat yet, say something in chat, or it's fine, you can just watch. But welcome. It's good to have you here. Caleb, hello, Caleb. Welcome. And yeah, just ask any questions you want to ask. So, a question for you. If you were thinking of building a pack for yourself, what would you want to know about the experience of going through this process that would help you either to be inspired to do it, or would help you to help it to be an easier experience for you? So let me know in the questions or in the chat, sorry, if there's things like that you'd like to know about the experience of me doing this. I know that people that follow the channel, I've answered a lot of these questions already. But if maybe you want to answer them again, maybe there's a question you haven't asked that you would like to ask, and I'm happy to answer those questions. Caleb's saying you were thinking about that. Cool, Caleb. Let me know. Let me know. The other thing I was saying earlier was, because people have been asking me what might you mod next. This is the Spirit PKE meter. And I'm sure some of you, if you're Ghostbusters fans, might have one of these. So again, I was thinking of maybe talking about how you might approach modding this. What might you want to do with modding this? Let's see, what are people saying? Tony's asking how heavy it is. It's actually not too heavy. It's not light. And here's the comparison. So I have a Spirit Halloween pack. That's so light. It's really easy to carry around with you. This is a bit heavier, and it starts to get heavier with a few things. So the wand makes it heavier. And also, gosh, I'm really going to have to move this trap, because every time I turn this pack around, this trap heads for the floor. It's like an escapee. It's trying to head for the floor. The other thing that makes it heavy is the motherboard, which is basically the word that the community calls for this piece of. It's actually aluminium or aluminum in the movies. Here, I've made it out of a piece of very thick particle board. So that adds weight. The Alice frame adds weight. And then the other thing that adds weight is the battery and electronics. So I wouldn't say it was super heavy. But you may be, depending on your endurance level. And I saw some posts online about this. I don't know if you saw this as quite a funny topic, but the actor that I'm really having problems with. This is what happens when I'm super tired, and Eddie knows this because I've been in Chicago all week. I start to lose the ability to remember names. But the actor that plays Winston Zedmore, there we go. Oh my gosh, was talking on social media recently about how he's advanced in his years and he's still very happy and capable of carrying one of these packs, whereas his Ghostbusting alumni buddies find it much harder to carry it. So yes, let's see. Eddie's saying where to start. So these are questions about making a pack or building a prop like this. So Eddie's asking Where do we start? Maybe as if this then chart of all the ways to start, places to sort past, relative cost breakdowns. That's a great question. So some of you know I'm going to put a full build video up with this, but that's really helpful, Eddie, actually, to think about, could I provide that kind of resource as an additional thing that would go along with information about how to do this yourself? Yeah, where to start is a really great question. I think, weirdly, the where to start is a desire. So sometimes what can stop us from building something like this is like just thinking, I don't even know how to do it. And this is why I love the conversation here about building stuff out of cardboard. I think sometimes having the confidence to just go for it and try and do it, and being very happy to fail, because you almost can't do anything like this without failing. And on my journey to getting here, I failed lots. I made lots of mistakes. But yes, so I probably can't answer all of those questions right now, because I think, like you say, a chart would be a great way to do it, Eddie. But I think that to answer the question about where to start, I think it's about having the desire and having a vision. And then what's wonderful these days about the internet and about this, particularly the community, both of prop builders and makers and of Ghostbusters fans, is there's some incredible places to go. The GB Fans website is a great place to both procure parts and to get advice. This 3D print model that I used is the Q-Pack. It's a fantastic model. If you're a beginner 3D printer, I totally believe that you can do this as a beginner. This is by far the largest thing I've ever printed so far in my prop making career. So yeah, that's some answers about where to start. But Eddie, I really love your thought there. Clay says, I think more videos like the toy to prop would be awesome. Thank you. That's helpful to know. I think that maybe this could be the next one. And I'm thinking of taking other toys, not just from Ghostbusters, but other franchises, and maybe doing a similar thing, especially coming up to Halloween, because people are, you know, trying to build outfits and costumes and other things. And also just for cosplay, right? There's so many wonderful toys like this that just with a little bit of skill and enthusiasm, you can convert into something realistic looking. It's really funny holding this, by the way, just standing here, because I was lucky enough to hold the actual prop from the movie and then hold the HasLab and then hold this. And one of the conversation pieces, you can see this part here, the handle, is so much thinner on the 84 prop than on the version that they're bringing out for HasLab, or the version that's in the new movie. For lots of reasons that will make sense. They put lots of electronics in here, but yeah, just that came to my mind. Anyway, let's get back to the questions here. What a great set of questions I've got here. But thank you for that, Clay. TG Playtime, what is the best material to make a motherboard out of? So, as far as the... Hang on, my daughter's just standing out of camera and she looks like she desperately wants to ask me a question. Do you want to come on camera? This is Celeste, everybody. Hello. This is my daughter. She was staring at me while I was live streaming.
I don't know.
What do you want to say to everybody that's live?
Like 2 hours ago, he was trying to turn on, well, he was trying to press buttons on the pack, and he was really confused why it wasn't working, and it just wasn't on, and that's why it wasn't working.
Thanks, Celeste. Thank you for showing me up in front of everybody. Yeah. What she's saying is that I came down here and wanted to make the smoke thing work, and I couldn't understand why it wasn't working. Oh, don't fall over. I couldn't understand why it wasn't working, and it was because I literally just hadn't turned it on. That would be why. Anything else you want to say to embarrass me publicly? It's okay, I'm used to it. I'm a dad.
No,
go on.
No, I was just wondering if we had HBO Max.
We don't. Sorry. Okay. I think Celeste's trying to watch Mad Max, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. She's trying to watch Mad Max, and we don't have a subscription to HBO right now. You can take the Mad Max steering wheel and just drive it if you want. You guys have seen this. She can just take this and like pretend like she's in the movie. Just act out the scene.
I'll pretend to be Nux.
Pretend to be Nox. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Thanks, Celeste, for making an appearance. No, you're good. You're good. All right. Where were we? Lots of people saying hi to you, by the way. Right. Let's go. I'm sorry about that. Let's go back to where we were with the questions, right? We gone Eddie, we talked to Clay, we talked to right material for the motherboard. Sorry, TG Playtime. I'm going to try and get through these questions quick. The absolute best material that everyone tells me is aluminium or aluminum, depending on which country you're from and how you pronounce it. But obviously, if you don't have access to an aluminum or aluminium tooling or whatever it is, I mean, obviously there's different ways to cut that motherboard shape out. My go-to was like a particle board, so like a very tough particle board, and it's been great. But aluminium is the way to go. And that's coming directly from the mouth of Ben Eady, who was the prop master on Afterlife. Snedler, from a score of 1 to 5, how hard is it to make such a pack, not being the best builder? It's a great question. And it's hard for me to answer for others how hard it's going to be, because I've obviously biased because I love this kind of thing. And so I guess maybe some things are easier for me than they'd be from others. Maybe some things are harder for me. There's certainly some things that I'd never done before. Like a really good example of something I'd never done before was when I had to create the motherboard and create the hooks. Let me see if I can show you. Right, so I had to put on, I don't know if I can find them here, but I had to put on some brackets that were on the wood and then stuck up that you could then screw into, and I had to solder using this tool that I'd never used before. I mean, this is just a little hand blowtorch, but I had to solder the nut to the bracket, and I'd never done that before. I'd seen Adam Savage do it, but I'd never done it before, so that for me was new. It wasn't hard per se, but it required time. So I think there's always going to be things that you've done that you feel comfortable with, and things that you haven't done that you're not going to feel comfortable with. But the 3D printing part is really not that hard. The hardest part is bringing it to life, I think. So really hard for me to score it, but hopefully that's helpful data for you. Oh yeah, Cameron wants me to make a slime blower, and I keep putting it off because it's a big build. Let's see, D. Casillas, I hope I'm saying that right, sorry. I've built a few packs, and I'd say don't be fussy and just get to work. It'll all buff out after paint. Yeah, that's great. That's a great advice. Just kind of get on with it, try it, and do it. Yeah, I think it's a great one. Gavin wants me to make this an Afterlife PKE meter. I'm up for that. I'm going to move some of these things out of the way. You know what I'm like, stop building stuff up on the desk here, and they get in the way. Let's see, Caleb. That's I would like to know if you can get. I would like to know if you can get. Sorry, I didn't fully understand that, Caleb. The Afterlife PKE meter. Again, maybe you say like. Gremlins fan, my name used to be SpiderCool, but I decided to change my name because I'm now a Gremlins fan. Gremlins is amazing, especially the original movie. I love that film. But I remember the name SpiderCool, so welcome back. Snedler, needs a gigameter from GB2. Yeah, that's a whole build in itself, the gigameter. Caleb, me too. Gavin, I saw that. Cosmic Vision, liked and subbed. Thank you, Cosmic Vision. I super appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's see. Gosh, loads of comments here. People then, I'm so behind. Lots of people are saying stuff about Celeste here. Clay is saying there's a GB fans thread about modding the spirit props. I found it very helpful. Yeah, and there's some great, there's some 3D printed parts on the Ghostbusters video that I'm about to release on Sunday of chatting with people about their packs and their cosplay at Ghostbusters Day. I met a guy that had a Spirit Pack mod that had printed a new cyclotron. And I also met somebody at Fan Expo when I met Adam Savage that had done the same thing to their Spirit Pack and had modded it and put that in. So that's super cool. Yeah, and you're right. The GB fan thread, there's a lot of great places to go there. Let's see. Cameron's saying you would build a Spirit Unleashed PK meter and pack and trap. Gosh. Yes, so many things we could build. So many things. Where do we even start? Gremlins fan, and your opinion, which is more sadder, Gremlins or Critters? Oh, sadder, sicker, better? Which do I prefer? I prefer Gremlins to Critters. Critters is a slightly different vibe, but I don't know why. I just prefer Gremlins. I really like Gremlins a lot. Cool. Okay. Oh, Tony was laughing at me for not figuring out how to turn on the pack. Yeah. Yeah, you know. Like I said, I'm just going to keep excusing myself from severe fatigue. And if you're new here and wonder what is going on and who this rambling British guy is with a proton pack behind you, this is Experience Explorers, and we make stuff, we explore stuff, and we chat about it, as you can see. And we have a really great community. I would love you guys joining this channel and chatting with me. It's always fun to do these live streams. I absolutely love it. Let's see. Gene, hello. Is that a shell you used? It's a 3D printed shell that I constructed. So it's the Q pack. It's a bit of a mix of the version 3 and the version 4. Because when I started this project, version 4 was being done or finished. And what I mean by version 4 was being finished, the files, the STL files for printing were being gradually uploaded. Snedler, GB Day. It was the day you were heat testing the pack. Yes. On Ghostbusters Day, I had this pack on the front seat of the Ecto-1 outside the firehouse. And it was a very, very hot day. And the pack held up beautifully. Because we were having a discussion a few weeks back about 3D printing materials. And obviously they're heat extruded materials. That means materials that when they get hot can be squeezed through that nozzle, which is a 3D print head, and then they dry quickly, which is how 3D printing works. And so obviously if you get the materials hot again, it's possible that the pack could melt. So you just have to be careful about not leaving it somewhere super hot. Definitely don't put your pack in the oven as a storage location. By the way, Matt, always good to make a heat test with a nuclear accelerator on your pack. You are right, Snedler, yes. Gavin, maybe you should make the real Ghostbusters pack. A lot of people have mentioned that. Maybe this is something that people really want to see, and I need to figure this out. I need to get myself into action. Gremlins fan is saying, I'm still waiting for Gremlins 3 since I was 7-year-old back in 2023. Still waiting, and now you're 8. Well, you know what? I have heard rumblings about Gremlins 3. Let's hope it happens. I really do hope it happens. And I'm pretty sure it will be produced by Steven Spielberg's production company. I don't think he'll be directly involved, but he'll definitely be a producer, I would think. Casalis, hi. I've also found that as the universe expands and props evolve, the design is constantly changing. True. Egon would always be upgrading and modding, so don't get hellbent on being as super screen accurate. Couldn't agree more with you. I think one of the funnest parts for me of building any prop is making it your own. So, and also that to say that I also hugely admire those that have this passion to build exactly what they've seen. Like I also love that, but that's not necessarily me. And I think that sometimes that can be a barrier to entry. People feeling like unless they have this perfect, exactly right thing, that they're kind of not welcome in the club. And that just isn't true. So I saw so many different levels of skill and pack builds and everything at Ghostbusters Day. And it didn't matter. People had rocked up, they had dressed up, they were at the firehouse. It was Ghostbusters Day. And it was just freaking awesome. Like I saw everything from cardboard packs to a guy that had built an Ecto out of originally, I think it was like a Barbie car, built an Ecto and like rolled it down to the street. Freaking awesome. So many things, so many cool things. So yeah, don't allow your concern that it won't be perfect or won't be exactly right to stop you from doing it. I love that comment. Thank you for making it. Gene, does the nose pop out on the Neutrino wand? It does. It does. This is the 84 wand from. So here we go. Let me push this in. So this is actually the HasLab wand, or one of, but I have done some considerable weathering to this to make it look more particularly because when I got this wand out of the box, and again, I keep saying this on this channel, I've got so much content, I need to edit all these videos together, but I have a video actually where I compare side by side this is the 84, as I said. Oh my gosh, come on, Matt. The 84 and the Spengler. So these are the two. Actually, they're very, very similar to each other. You can tell they're from the same mold, all the parts. But I did a lot of work on this one to make it look like it matched my pack. Because obviously, when I put this next to my pack and it was out of the box and it was obviously a toy, it did not look in universe. So with the things like, when you've got similar materials, let me move the camera a little bit closer here. But as an example, let's give you an example of this. So here on the pack, this piece here is supposed to be made of aluminium or at least an aluminium type looking metal, maybe like a stainless steel. And so this was painted and made to look that way. You want this part to look the same. So I had to age this and color it so that when you put these two next to each other, they look like they're the same material. And that was the thing I had to do. I had to go in and go, well, how have I made these weld marks look here? I need to replicate the weld marks there. Again, so that was the job. Even down to these switches, you can see that these switches have even been darkened to make them look like dirt has got in here, so that everything looked in universe, because this looked way too new. Even on the clip art, look, on the clip art here, again, pushing it back to make it look much more in universe. But yes, the nose does pop out. Sorry, that was my original question, me getting off the point. Yes, the nose does pop out. So you have the switch here. There it goes. That is always incredibly satisfying. And one thing to note on these wands, again, those that are well familiar with this will know this already, but the one thing I don't like is the fact that on the movie prop, the wand is transparent. You can see through it. But on this HasLab wand, there's kind of a, what would you call it? Like a diffuser. Because when you power this up, I'm going to just turn these switches on, turn them back on again. When you press for power here, it diffuses the light of those LEDs. That's what it's doing. So it looks cool when it's firing, but it looks slightly less cool when it's like this, which is why I aged it so much, because I really wanted to take away from this looking like literally a tube of white plastic. That was the intent. That is another very satisfying sound, isn't it? Right, back to the chat, folks. Back to the chat. D. Casalis, get your props to be what you would have in the field. Yeah, I love that. Mythology lover, can you pour the stream? Can you put the stream up? Pout the stream? Can you pour the screen up on the camera? Is this better? Is this angle better? Let me know, Mythology lover, if this angle is better for you. I know that sometimes the chat at the bottom of the screen here gets in the way. So just let me know if you need me to change the camera angle. Hopefully that's better. Gavin saying, what about Phoebe's Frozen Empire pack? Yeah, so I've said before that this pack here is pretty much designed to look like the OG packs. And what I mean by that is, if we think about the other Ghostbusters that turn up later in the movie for the kind of finale, hopefully that's not a spoiler for you, then they're wearing the packs that they had from '84, but that were aged and had some modifications done between then, Ghostbusters 2, and that moment. So this, whoops, as it falls over, this is designed to look like it's as old as the Phoebe pack, but hadn't got all of the Spengler updates to it. That was the intention of this, and I'm really happy with kind of how that came out. Gene is saying, could the Ghostbusters defeat Pinhead? Ooh, that's a good question. I like that question. And why would Benedict Cumberbatch make the perfect British Egon? Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! Oh, so many lines of Benedict Cumberbatch I want to say. I am Khan. There we go. Love Benedict Cumberbatch. I love the questions, Gene. Gremlins fan, can you make a brain gremlin A brain gremlin, a real gremlin run by ChatGPT, a brain gremlin. I think I know what you mean. But yes, like a gremlin that I can talk to with ChatGPT, that would be interesting. Camera, let's see. Gene, beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Cameron saying you should build a protonic pulse rifle. I'll send it to you. Wow, that sounds terrifying and awesome. Snella saying, how many hours did it use building it if we take out the 3D printing? Oh, it's a great question. I think I said this before, that it's difficult for me to kind of answer that question fully, just because I kind of, you know what, I'm trying to keep this camera here so it's so that we can see the packing shot and the chat isn't in the way of it. It's the challenge of this portrait thing. Let me know if that's good. It's really hard for me to answer that question because I did it over such a long period of time. And what I mean is it didn't take me a long time, but it was a long period of time that I was working on and off on it. But it's got to be, it must be over 100 hours more, probably. Epic Mickey fan, hi, welcome back. It's good to see you. Mythology lover, what's your favorite part? Favorite part of the pack? You know what? My favorite part of the pack, I'm going to take the camera off here to show you what my favorite part is. And it's kind of a weird part. Let me turn the camera around. Here we go. I actually really like, you can see these welding marks in here. I'm actually quite proud of those, that I added the welding to make it look like these pieces. I had a little bit of story in my mind, because I always have this idea that when you build something like this, what you really want is a story. What is the journey that this pack has been through? What's happened to it? And kind of the idea was that maybe at some point it had a malfunction, caught fire, this part had broken, and you can see the kind of burn marks or melt marks here. And then this whole box had to be replaced, or at least opened up and reconnected together. So that was kind of the story, and that's why I wanted to add these weld marks. And then here, I'm very, very pleased with the welding on the top here. I'm kind of proud of that. And of course, it's not welding, it's done with a glue gun. But that, I was very, very happy with that. And it's one of those things that when I was doing it, I was like, ooh, is this gonna work? Is this really gonna be okay? And then as it turned out, it looked great. Once I put the chrome on this and then darkened it back down, it really started to come to life for me, and I was super happy with it. So, let's see. Let's roll back with the questions. So we said hi to Epic Mickey, and I was answering Mythology Lover's question, and then Stephanie, hello, welcome. It's good to have you here. Spooky Subway Sandwich, love that name. Is that a screen use prop or a modified HasLab pack? It is a printed 3D pack from scratch. And the fact that you might even think it's screen used makes me incredibly happy. Thank you, Spooky Subway Sandwich. Not only do I like your name, but I like your question. Gavin, what is the hose made out of? So the hose here and the hose here, this is like a split loom for wiring. So here in my workshop, I've got like a whole load of split loom of different sizes. I have all this, any of you guys that have seen these videos know that I have all these array of boxes with all sorts of kind of junk and pieces. I don't throw anything away because I always get to use it, but it's a split loom piece of wire cover. That's what I use to make the tubes out of. And the helpful thing is as well that you can obviously run cabling down it, because for this, even though this has its own power supply, I've added these little nuggets here, these little special effects. So if I press this button here, you get the kind of sparking wires here inside the pack tube. And then here, the pièce de résistance is the vent here. This fantastic smoking vent prop addition that's made by CNA Props. And I press the little button here on under the handle, and that activates that effect. That is my absolute favorite. Actually, I probably should have said that's my favorite part of the pack. Even down to you see the vent here. I'm really pleased with the gauze venting. I think it looks spot on for the movie to me, and I was very happy with that. And also, it's just so fun. Who doesn't want to see smoke backlit coming out of something? I do. I always want to see some backlit smoke coming out of something. Let's see. Nerd. Hello, Nerd Affiliated. How is everyone doing? I need a tutorial on your weathering technique, the dusting especially. Dude, we can talk about that. I'm happy to talk about that now. Let me get through these questions, then we can talk about weathering. Stephanie saying it looks cool. Mythology Lover saying it is. Thank you. The Geeky Scouser. Hello. How you doing? Good to see you on the live. It's been, what, 3 weeks since we saw each other. How are you doing? How is Liverpool? Gremlins fan. Ghostbusters with Gizmo on their side versus Critters. Ooh, I like that idea. Ghostbusters with Gizmo on their side would totally destroy Critters. Can you give me a shout out? Oh, I subbed. Shadow55, here is your shout out. Thank you for subbing. Welcome to the chat. Appreciate you being here. Stefan, hi Stefan. Can I catch a ghost? I've already caught one. It's in here. Literally, look. It's right in there. It's right in here. And those of you that know the channel, know the little... I don't know if this is going to work today, but this prop has a smoker in it. So if anything's working, maybe it's not working today. I think I'm out of smoke. Look, it's supposed to smoke, but I need to refill the smoke. I've used it so much. But it would show you that there was a ghost in there. Stephanie saying, glad to be here, responding to my question from ages ago because I'm really behind on the chat. I'm sorry. Gavin's having to head out. Thank you for joining, Gavin. And Cameron's asking, would I subscribe to your channel? Yes, of course I will, Cameron. When I get off the live stream, I will absolutely do that, Cameron. Clay is saying, on the Spirit Trap, I replaced the green LEDs with a more bright white LEDs and lined them with tin foil. Oh, that's a great idea. And just so we all know what we're talking about, hang on, I'm going to show the original trap here. So this is the Spirit Trap, and there are 3 LEDs inside here that are better seen if I turn on this one. Let me bring this over here. Gosh, this always happens on my live streams. I end up with absolutely no space on the workbench at all. And then you have to wait for me to move things around. So professional, Matt. So here I added this LED thing, but when we're talking about those 3 LEDs, you can see them here. 1, 2, 3. And you replace those with white LEDs and then tin foil back them. That's a fantastic idea. I bet they look so much brighter than this. I love it. I love it. Caleb is back. Hi, Caleb. Spider-Man Gaming is saying, wow, hi, Spider-Man Gaming. It's good to have you here. Gremlins fan, Gremlins or Goonies? Oh, don't make me choose, Gremlins fan. Those movies are both amazing. Spider-Man Gaming says, the Ghostbusters. And Snedler is saying, the smoke venting is awesome. I heartily agree. I love it so much. Have been a DJ back in time with own equipment. I'm so interested in knowing how much fog smoke fluid you got in the pack and where you fill it up. And Spider-Man Gaming saying it's gonna be like in a movie. Right, so let's talk about the smoke kit. So basically, the smoke kit in here, it's just a fantastic question, by the way, because when you've got really, if you're a DJ and you've got like a standard smoke machine, and this is Max now coming down. We're getting interrupted by my kids all the time. How you doing, Max?
Good.
Max, I can't complain. Max is throwing out trash, which if you have kids, you know that if they were to actually, like, if they take trash out on their own and are not asked, like, that's a miracle, isn't it, Max? So thank you so much, Max. I appreciate it. How you doing? What game are you playing right now? Minecraft. He's playing Minecraft upstairs. Max has just come back from camp. Snedler, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super. That's super appreciated. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it very much. And I was distracted by Max. I can't remember what I was saying now. But Snedler, when we get a super, the super giver owns the floor for the period of the time. So Snedler, if you have any questions or things you want to see, and I'll answer these other questions, and then I'm going to pivot to talking about weathering because Nerd Affiliated said wanted a tutorial on it, But yes, Snedler, any questions from you, I'm very, very happy to answer them. And thank you so very, very, very much. In fact, I was answering your question, wasn't I? Brain. Yes, so the area for filling up, I'm not going to take this apart to show you, but it's actually quite a small reservoir. So imagine the kind of size of a vape. It's essentially when you have these small smoke effects on props, it's basically like if you can imagine, you've seen a vape with a reservoir on the top where you put the liquid kind of at the top where the mouthpiece is. Not that I condone vaping in any way or trying to promote it. I'm just saying when you've seen those, you'll find that there's that kind of reservoir on the top. So it's a very similar thing to that. It's a small reservoir, creates quite a lot of smoke, and then has a very specific blend of chemicals. There's a whole video on my channel, actually, if you're interested in what the best chemical blend for really effective smoke is. But it's a blend, and what it means is it creates quite a lot of smoke for quite a small amount of fluid. I had this kind of running up and running for Ghostbusters Day. It came filled from CNA props. I haven't had to fill it again. There is not a big smoke reservoir in here that like there might be in a smoke machine. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah. Sorry, right, so thank you again, Snudler, for the super. I really appreciate it. I need to heart it and give it a thumbs up. There we go. It is done. Thank you so much. Cyberman Gaming. I love your icon. Look at that. That's a 1980s Cyberman from Doctor Who. That was my all-time favorite Cyberman design that originated in Earthshock in Doctor Who. Here, I'm bringing out my inner geek for you folks here. But I love that icon. That's fantastic. He's asking, yo man, get Slimer out of there. He's uncomfortable. Thank you. I'm going to leave him in there for a bit more because I want to keep all the food I've got in the house for me. Pablo. Hello, Pablo. Yes, I did make the props, 3D printed, and some of them are toy mods as well. So it's kind of a mixture of what we're looking at here. Stephanie's answering the question about Goonies or Gremlins. Stephanie says Goonies. It's a great question. Impossible for me to answer. Gremlins fan, internet animation or actual movies and TV shows? Oh gosh, you're coming up with the questions today. Internet animation or actual movies and TV shows? It depends on the internet animation. I'm partial to a few internet animations. Quite an old one now, but Charlie the Unicorn is still a classic. I like both. I'm sorry. I know that that's me copying out there, but I do like both. DJ PG, hi. You need to capture Slimer with that. Yes, I do need to capture Slimer with it. I think somebody else says that Slimer's in the trap. So hopefully Slimer is contained and we are fine. Let's hope. Let's hope. Let's see. Cameron, sorry, Maria, hello, welcome to the chat, is saying nice proton pack. Thank you very, very much. Cameron saying that they're watching Ghostbusters 2 now. Enjoy that, Cameron. Cameron loves the Ghostbusters and is always watching Ghostbuster YouTube. Thank you, DJ PG. Hilario, is it for kids? The pack, you mean? Yeah, I mean, kids can play with it. This is more of a prop than a toy, so I wouldn't let younger kids play with it because I think it's quite breakable. But hey, anything this cool is always for the kids, right? Born the Awesome Gamer is like, what the expletive? Hey, it's a proton pack, man. This is what we're here talking about. Yeah. Thank you for joining and commenting. Snedler saying thank you for the answer. You are very, very welcome. I am going to do, I've talked about this before, I'm not going to do it now because we don't need to take everything apart, but I will do the electronics video because I think people want to see the bits, and I'd like to show you that, the smoker, that you get a better idea of it, but it literally fits within this part. It's that small, which is incredible. Born the Awesome Gamer, I'm such a big fan of Ghostbusters. That's awesome, me too. In fact, I bet a lot of people on this chat right now are huge fans of Ghostbusters. There's a whole bunch of Ghostbusters stuff on my channel, Born the Awesome Gamer. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. There's a whole video of behind the scenes of shooting the most recent movie in New York City. It's exclusive to our channel, so go check it out. That's super fun. And a whole bunch of other videos on building props, not just Ghostbusters, but some Ghostbusters props and other things. Maria, I've always wanted a proton pack. Me too, which is why I ended up building one. I can't believe it took me this long in my life to build one, because I've wanted one since I was a kid, but I finally got around to doing it. Cameron's Ectoverse, you know what's a good way to make money? Oh, I don't know. Well, if I knew, I wouldn't be streaming live. I'd be on my yacht. I'm just kidding. I'm streaming live because I love streaming and chatting with you guys about this stuff. Let's see. Drew Buono. Hopefully I got that right, Drew. GB1 or Frozen Empire pack. Ooh. I like both of them, and I got the chance to see the Frozen Empire packs, the actual props, and touch them, and they were super cool. I really like them. I quite like, what I do like though is the kind of worn-in aesthetic, which is what I've done with this pack. So I'm probably between the two. I actually kind of like the vibe in Afterlife, which is the used universe vibe, which I've got here going on my pack. Let's see. Gremlins fan, is this live stream for all ages? Should have asked when I first watched your live stream. Yes, Gremlins fan, it is. I keep all of the content on my channel family friendly, just so you know. So it's a very, very good question to ask. And yes, this should be a safe space for everyone, no matter what their age is. Snedler, Hilario, we're still got some child. We've still got some child inside us all still. Yeah, totally. Look, this whole thing is like, I'm a big kid making a toy, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with being called a big kid. I never want to lose that childlike part of myself. I think, you know, if you're watching this and you're a kid, don't rush to grow up too fast. I know that that's how it feels to us all. And if you're an adult watching this, my point of view is don't be afraid of the child that's still in you. I think it's sometimes the best part of us. Let's see. Born the Awesome Gamer. I wanted to get to see a proton pack and wear it. I know. When you put this thing on, so when I was at Ghostbusters Day a few weeks back, AC Martin, who was the stunt actor for Phoebe Spengler, I asked her if she wanted to wear my pack. And she was like, yes, immediately. In fact, the video's on this channel. You can watch her try it on. But it was fun for me to see her enjoying that. And there's something in, I think everybody, when you see anyone put on a proton pack and kind of suit up, there's just an innate joy in it. It's just fantastic. Stephanie is definitely a fan of Ghostbusters. You're right. Candace saying, that's so cool. Sorry, I'm getting behind on these comments, trying to catch up. Ectotrip, hey, the proton pack isn't a toy either. See, Ectotrip's very good with the lines from the movie and bringing them at the very right point in chat when we're talking about those things. Let's see. I'm DJ PG saying, what's your fave Ghostbusters? I think Afterlife, other than the original. I love the original, obviously, but I like Ghostbusters Afterlife a lot. Snedler said, if you like his Ghostbusters build, then you've got to see the electronic raptor head. It rocks. Thanks, Snedler. Yeah, if you're... I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, but I'm also a huge fan of other franchises. So I've got Jurassic World stuff. I've got Jurassic Park stuff. I did a Dune prop. I did a... I made the Thumper from Dune. I've got that. There's a whole video on making one of those. And even made, I showed it earlier, but a Mad Max steering wheel was one of the most recent builds I did. Look, this was a fun build to do. Look at this. This was cool. I'm into anything, all sorts of stuff like that. You know, this channel is a channel for fellow geeks to enjoy talking about and discussing how to build the things that we love seeing in the movies and we want to have in our hands. Spooky Subway Sandwich, dang, I love that. Username is great. Do you recommend building a proton pack with wood and metal? So there are wooden parts in here. So the motherboard is wooden. I mean, you can. So Nick, my bud, that has the Ecto 1 replica, has several older packs that were built out of wood. And they're perfectly like, you know, there's parts like this that you can build out of wood. You can make a wooden box and sand it and make these pieces. So yeah, I mean, I would recommend that. On the original packs, this piece here, the ion arm, is made out of folded metal. So there's lots of parts that you definitely can make out of wood and metal. So yes, I would recommend it. I haven't done that. I 3D printed mine, but yes, absolutely. TG Playtime saying, I was making a screen accurate shed from Thomas the Tank Engine today. Cool. And I will finish it tomorrow. That's awesome. I forgot. Yeah, I think I heard you mention before on a live stream that you like Thomas the Tank Engine. That's cool. And very British. D. Casalis saying, how do you justify things to keep future mods or throw away the leftover odds and ends? Oh, that's a good question. Have trouble figuring out what I need to toss and keep. I'm cursed to be that man that saves every screw. Dude, look, hey. That you are talking to the same person. I am you in that regard. I took the camera off here earlier. I don't know if you were on when I did this. I think you were. But look, this box here in my workshop is literally that box. This is stuff that no human needs to keep. Look, random pieces. But you know what? All this stuff ends up becoming handy. And so I keep it because you never know what you're going to build. And, you know, in literally a few weeks, I'm going to be starting to build the Back to the Future live experience that we're building for Halloween. All that stuff that's in that box is going to be tipped out on the floor, and I'm going to take things from there that I didn't know whether useful or not, and they're going to become part of the set. They're going to become part of my build. So I'm probably not, if there's somebody else in your life that's encouraging you to throw those things away and you're looking for me to help justify their point of view, probably I'm not the right person to speak to. Because I'm going to say, keep everything. Keep everything. Adam Savage has this really interesting thought in his book, Every Tool's a Hammer, where he talks about when you cut something out, or when you have a cast-off piece, there's something about the story about that piece of material. Like you cut a circle out of a piece of wood, and then you put that piece of wood to the side, and then you use that circle in whatever you're making. That piece that you cut it out of is part of the story of that build that you made, which is a really interesting idea, and then serves the purpose of becoming something in a future build. So it's kind of almost like gifting you something you didn't know you needed yet, if that makes any sense. But I think that's a cool point of view. Right. And hopefully that helps you justify it. Cameron's saying, you go to the... oh, yeah. Cameron's saying a good way to make money this time of year is to give people cool water when it's boiling hot. Yeah, on the beach. I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that is true. So, let's see. What else are people asking me? TG Playtime saying that they're nearly 13 and still like Thomas and Ghostbusters. I think that's totally fine. I know plenty of adults that still like Thomas. And I'm never not going to like Ghostbusters. So, there we go. North Noise. Oh, sorry, hang on. TJPG, what's your favorite GB in the 1980s or the... Oh. I like both. I like both. Sorry, I didn't finish reading the question out loud. The question was basically, is it the 1980s Ghostbusters or the 2020 Ghostbusters that I like more? I like both of them. And like my favorites in both eras is the original 84 and the Afterlife movie. North Noise. Hello. Is that a costume pack? It is a made from scratch 3D printed pack that I built. That's what it is. Born the Awesome Gamer, I don't know, but I think one of my friends is making a proton pack in real life that actually works. Okay, I need to know more about that. If it, like, do you mean lights or do you mean it's really a particle thrower? Because I need to know if it is. Rebecca, hello! Welcome to the chat. Ectotrip, when are you making a time machine? Seems pretty easy. You know what, Ectotrip? Not a word of a lie, but I am making a time machine for our live Back to the Future experience. So I can announce it properly now to the world. But for Halloween, we are building a Back to the Future live experience / ride experience. Or I should say Back to the Future themed, because obviously I do not own the property rights for Back to the Future. But it will be Back to the Future themed, time travel and DeLorean themed experience for Halloween. And so if you're close to New Jersey, on our website, experienceexplorers.com, I will soon be releasing information about the dates that we're going to be running that experience. It's going to be free. And we're going to be running it for 3 nights, starting on 31st of October, and then, which is on the Thursday this year, and then we're going through into Friday and Saturday. And there will be a DeLorean time machine. There will be a physical ride type escape room experience with actors and special effects. It's going to be super fun. And I'll, of course, be live streaming about the build for that as we go. But it's going to be super fun, and I'm so excited for it. Let's see. What are people saying? Stephanie's saying, saw the video and it's awesome. Thanks, Stephanie. Ectotrip, Back to the Future Live Experience, where I just said, so look out for experienceexplorers.com on the events tab. When the event is when the information's coming out, I'll update that. And it will be in Bergen County, New Jersey. Gremlins fan said that their pet Mowgli bit me. I wonder what happens when a pet Mowgli bites you. Does it have the same effect as kind of like a werewolf bite? Do you like turn into a Mowgli? Do you turn into a gremlin? If the Mowgli bites your finger after midnight, does that classify as eating? I need answers to these questions, Gremlins fan. Snedler, Back to the Future Live Experience. Yes. Matt, you always amaze me. Thank you, Snedler. It's going to be fun. And for those of you that are far, far away from New Jersey, I'm going to do my very, very best to find a way to give you the experience of what it's going to be like. I might do a live stream. I'll obviously do live streams, but I might do a walkthrough live stream with you so you can join. We'll set up a time and you can kind of come and chat with me and we can walk through the whole thing together. That'd be fun, right? So Born the Awesome Gamer saying that works and has lights. Oh, and can probably burn stuff. Wow. Wow. Enzo, hello. Hey, man, how are you? I'm good, thanks, Enzo. Nice to talk to you, and thank you for joining. Exarf, hey. Hey, Exarf. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Or is it Ziarf with an XH? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Because when you, like, you know, is it a Z sound or an X sound? Anyway, hello. Welcome. Cameron, of course you can go to the Halloween Back to the Future. Check out the website, experienceexplorers.com. If you just keep checking back, or you can subscribe to the website and information will come out. It's going to be Halloween, Cameron, on Halloween and the 2 days after. Ectotrip, holy moly, totally be there. Just saw a DeLorean for a Smodcastle Cinema event. Pretty sure the NJ Ecto was supposed to be there as well, but something happened. Oh, okay. I know Nick's been incredibly busy. I don't want to like steal any of his thunder, but he has 2 more additions to his incredible car collection. One of which, if you subscribe to my Instagram and his Instagram, you will have seen us tease together recently. Maria Tovar, here we have the Houston Ghostbusters. Hi, Maria, and welcome, Houston Ghostbusters. Am I going to see Stranger Things, the first shadow in London? I would love to see it. I hear amazing things about it. I would like to see it. I don't know when I'm next going to be in the UK. Just say Shakob, is that right? Is that right? I don't know how to, hopefully I said that right. Enzo, gonna build the Ghostbusters firehouse in Minecraft tonight. Oh, that's a great idea. I didn't think of doing that. Next time I'm in Minecraft, I might think about doing that. I have to make sure I've got the right materials, but that's awesome. Hello to you that I think is speaking to me in possibly, I think it's Japanese text. Hello. I'm sorry that I can't read that text, but welcome. It's nice to have you here, and I apologize. I always feel bad when people join and they speak their own language. I wish I could speak your language back to you. I really do, but thank you for being here. Gremlins fan saying, when my brother fed his Mowgli after midnight, I fed it when it was a gremlin and it turned back into a Mowgli. That's an interesting question. If you feed a gremlin after midnight, does it turn back into a Mowgli? I like that idea. Kelly, hello Kelly. The build for the proton pack. The cost, I need to count the cost. I actually don't know right now because it happened kind of gradually. I'm just going to say it wasn't cheap. It wasn't like crazily expensive, but it all adds up. It all adds up. When I do my I'll do a video on this channel of the whole build process step by step, and I will definitely provide some information about all the cost. What I'll probably do is do a full breakdown of everything that I bought, where to get it from. And again, that won't be like definitive. There's all sorts of places you can get things from, but I will provide you with a list of things I used, and hopefully that will be helpful to people. Snedler's got to go out to a fire. Thank you for joining again, Snedler. Lovely, always lovely having you on the live. Thank you so much for being here. Cameron is in Connecticut. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, you'll have to figure out how long it would take you to get here. When we did a live Ghostbusters experience in Bergen County last year, we had people coming from all over because we had the Ecto 1 here, which was super fun, and the experience was great. It was a really fun few nights. Born the Awesome Gaver, is it day or night to you today? Depends on what time of the day. Right now, it's afternoon here in New Jersey. Gremlins fan, are you still working on that giant robotic hot wing? Not right now. Not right now. I'm not. Okay, so I don't know if oh my gosh, brain, operate. Nerd Affiliated is still on, or Nerdbusters is still on. But the question ages ago was asked about weathering on the pack. And the term weathering in relation to props is about taking what looks brand new and putting it kind of back into a different kind of look, that weathering look. So there's a whole bunch of different weathering techniques that I've used here on this pack to make it look the way it does. But one of the things that Nerd Affiliated was asking about was the dust. So I've got this thing here that says weathering clay. But what this is, it's something that you can buy very easily on Amazon, at least you can here in the United States. And it's called Fuller's Clay, or Fuller's Earth. And basically, as you can see, it's a very, 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 very kind of fine powder. And often, actually, this powder is used in things like face packs for beauty. And actually, like a Fuller's Earth is sometimes used in filters as well because it's incredibly fine. And as water passes through it, it will filter things out. But it's a brilliant tool for adding dust and weathering to a prop like this. So basically, all you do is you get, and you'd get a brush like this, and then let's just do some weathering live. Let's do this. I'm going to grab a different pack. I'm going to grab a trap here. And let's just show you how this works. I'm going to move a few things around to create a space for this to happen. Okay, let's see if we can do it over here. So, let us imagine that you've done all the paint work like I have done on a trap like this. I'm going to put it here and I'm going to bring the camera closer so you can see it. Let me see if I can bring this down here. Right, guys, can you see that okay? Hopefully you can see that okay. So on something like this, if I was going to use Fuller's Earth, the idea is that really what you're trying to do is get the Fuller's Earth into these little cracks and crevices. So these spaces here where dust is obviously gonna gather. And it's, to be honest with you, a ridiculously simple process, but requires a little bit of audacious placement. So I put the brush in, and you'll notice that the dust kind of clings to the brush like this, and then you're going to take the dust and you're literally going to push it into those cracks and crevices. Now right now, as you can see, this just looks like, doesn't look great at all. But what you're going to do is you're going to get it into every crevice and crack that you can. So here into these little holes, into the sides here, you're going to try and get that in all those places. Even here on this gaffer tape, I'm going to rub that in. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow to get the dust to go away. And then what you're left with, and again, I'm not sure how well the camera will pick that up, but in the parts that were previously dark black, you've now got this little line of dust that sits in there. So you see that nice line there? And then I could kind of rub my fingers on here like I would if I was like using the trap. I might like place my hands here. So, you know, just touch touch it where you would typically touch it. And then what you'll find is that that dirt kind of gets left like it would. So, if, you know, when you try and clean something that's super dusty, you can't get into those little crevices. And this dust then leaves that kind of a sense of used age in there. And so that's kind of what you're going to do. You're going to come back in there and just kind of, you know, move your hand around the prop. But then you have got this kind of this accurate look to it. And it's the same here if I turn the camera around here to look at the pack. So you'll notice that I've done that in lots of places here inside these crevices, like right here, right deep dark and down inside. Let me see if I can get the camera in there. But it just adds a sense of realism, because as the light falls on the prop, you can see that dust has collected in the places where you typically can't get. I might turn this around so you can see it a little bit better. Let me just grab the camera off here. I'm just going to turn it around like this. Okay, let's show you an example of this. So in here, this is a great example of where we put the Fuller's Earth in here. Even on these textures, it just helps to bring them to life, even on all these parts. And the earth just kind of clings. You can see a little bit of it in there. It's kind of clinging in these places. And it stays there. And sometimes, again, if you want to age it down a bit more over time, you might want to add more earth. You can see the pattern of it here. This is a rough surface. So the Fuller's Earth kind of collected in this rough area. And again, it's collected around these edges here. So again, it's subtle, but it adds that extra dimensionality and makes an object that is brand new looking as if it were old. Even in these parts here, look, you can see the dust in there, even in the strain relief here and here. Look, plenty in here. Sorry, I'm getting a bit too close with the camera. It's getting out of focus, but you can just see the dirt clinging to these parts. And it just makes a big difference to the realism of what you're looking at. And it's a very simple thing to get hold of, Fuller's Earth. Not difficult to put on. So just really kind of go for it. And then the great thing about it is that you can take it off and wash it away, or rub it away with your hands or with a cloth after you've done it. So let's see, what are people saying? Justin is asking, where did I get the Vhook? So yeah, the Vhook, I was talking earlier, I made the Vhook out of a piece of aluminium, or aluminum, as we say in the United States, like this, and I cut it down into this shape. And then in order to kind of push it off, you can see here, I put some washers in here to lift it off the side of my pack, so there was enough space for the other side of the attachment to hook onto it. And then I did a lot of weathering on it. I scratched it up so you can see there's like lots of scratch marks on it. And then this is acrylic paint to make it look dirty and aged. Yeah. Bye, Gremlins fan. Thanks for joining. So yeah, so just that question about the aging, the Fuller's Earth, that was one of the things that really helps. So yeah. And then I think The other thing, obviously, that makes a big difference in the weathering here is this is part of the build, so it's creating these weld marks. But I've shown this before on the channel. This pen here, which is called a chrome pen, liquid chrome, is what I use to create all what look like chipping on the paint. This is actually literally drawn on in these parts, but it makes it look like chipped paint. And again, an important part of weathering. So this was another part, obviously, of the weathering. And then one other really useful tool is this stuff, which is called rub and buff, which is what you see here on these parts and here, that gives it this sense of looking like it's actually real metal. I'm so pleased with how it came up on this piece, because again, this is just a black piece of 3D printed PLA that's then been painted and sanded with you know, various coats, but then this rub and buff really gave it that sense of it's worn metal around the edges. And again, I use this rub and buff in lots of different places around edges. You can see it here and up here, and even on the top here. It's kind of everywhere, but it's a mixture of those things. So, you know, you do the paint work first, and then you, after you've done the black, you come in then with the rub and buff, and you come in with the pens, and you come in with the other things, and with the acrylic paints. And it's a mixture of all those things together that creates the final look on the pack to make it look realistic. So yeah. Born the Awesome Gaver says, what's your favorite voice line from podcast? From Ghostbusters Afterlife. My favorite line from podcast. Ooh, that's a really, really good question. I think I like the bit where Phoebe's walking back to the house in Afterlife. And he's like, I'm filming you just in case you get torn apart by some unseen force. That's pretty funny. Pretty much everything that podcast says is hilarious, to be honest with you. I think he's a great character. Justin is asking, how did you wire the switch to the lights? So yeah, so we're talking about this switch here. So actually, I'm going to do a video on the electronics, but this switch is wired directly to the power pack that's inside the pack. So when I switch this on, it turns on the power pack, which in turn is connected to all of the lights. And there's this little circuit board that's controlling the lights, which is in the power cell here. And so literally it just, when I switch it off, it disconnects one of the connections to that power supply. Then I switch it back on again, and it reconnects everything in the lights. So that's kind of roughly how I did it. TG Playtime, nuggets is my favorite line when he drops the trap. Yeah. Oh, nuggets. Yeah, it's great. I find that really funny as well, because my son Max, even before Ghostbusters, would often say, nuggets. That was his his line of choice for many years in frustration, and kind of an amusing and funny line. Mary is saying, I really wish there was a video game where there was a bunch of cars from old movies, as in the DeLorean or the Ecto. Yeah, that would be cool. I know I did see a video somewhere of somebody getting a DeLorean time machine in a driving game. Was it GTA? I don't know what it was. I did see it. Oh yeah, Born the Awesome Gaver is also saying nuggets is their favorite line as well. That's cool. Well, listen, it's been great joining you for today. I could only do an hour and a half really on the live stream today. So I'm going to call it quits for now. But thank you for joining the live stream. Super good. If you enjoyed what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Check out my other content. There's loads of content about Ghostbusters and prop building and general geekery. So if you enjoyed this, would love you to hit the subscribe button. I do a live stream at least every week, often on a Saturday afternoon from the workshop. I sometimes do live streams like I did a couple of weeks ago from events like Ghostbusters Day. And there's a lot more to come. There's an exciting lead in now as we move towards the Halloween season, out of summer and into the Halloween season. Oh my gosh, have I got some exciting stuff for you guys. I'm really excited to share it with you. So hit the subscribe button. And to those of you that have been here all the way through, thank you so much for sticking with this the live stream and bringing your comments and ideas and thoughts. That is what makes this fun, is just chatting with you folks, and for you guys to be here. I always enjoy it. So thank you for being here. hit the subscribe button, and until next time, it's Matt signing off. We'll see you on the next live stream. Oh, and I should say, dropping a video tomorrow. So check out the channel and hit subscribe if you want to see the Ghostbusters 40th anniversary video, which I'll be dropping tomorrow. Take care, everyone.